lighting okay?
Oh, good, man. So what's up, everybody? Coach Stefan here. I'm on with Rory. Say what's up.
How you doing, everybody?
And he was so gracious to kind of do this interview and share his experience so far with Pursuit. He's made a lot of progress, and actually, part of the reason I wanted you to do this, I know we just chatted the other day, is you had some recent like super big wins, which I definitely wanted to get into. Um, but just introduce yourself if you don't mind.
Hello, everybody. My name is Rory Hinton. I've been with Pursuit since I believe September or October of 23. So I've been doing this for a little while, and I'm currently working as a volunteer firefighter and an EMT in multiple departments, trying to work my way up to a bigger city department. And I just wanted to give the program a try out, and it's been great so far.
Yeah, for sure, man. Thanks for introducing yourself. So, I mean, we have a lot of, and you know this, like we have a lot of active fire in our program, um, law enforcement, I mean, just the first responder community. But I know when you first came in, you're like, I want to get in shape to pass my test, right? Was it the CPAT that you took?
It was for the physical agility test with
Physical agility test.
yeah.
Okay, so when you first came in, right? Like kind of describe like where you were or what are some things that you wanted to work on. And by the way, spoiler alert, he passed the test, but I want to kind of walk through that where you were before.
Right. So when I started here, I weighed about probably the most I ever did in my life. I was at I believe 230-ish, no more than 235. I used to be really fit in high school, and after I started college, I kind of really just let myself go, just stopped caring. I was like, oh, well, I don't really need to impress anybody, kind of thing. And I learned that it's not about impressing anybody. It's about being healthy. It's about being, doing good for yourself. And as a firefighter, it's a very demanding job, and going to fires. Um, really took a lot out of me. So it was really hard, physically. And then I realized that it's not about, body image or trying to look cool for anybody. It's about being healthy, because the biggest killer in firefighting is heart disease. And my family has a
Mhm.
history of heart disease.
Mhm.
And I didn't want, to die at a young age
Yep.
because of that. So I was in a pretty bad spot. And just really feeling, you could feel like how unhealthy you are by being sick, and even mentally, it wasn't good.
Yeah. Well, how much weight have you lost since starting the program? So you said like October, right? So it's been about like 4 or 5 months ish, right? How
Right.
much weight have you dropped?
I think I've dropped down at one time to like 211, 212. I started fluctuating up and down, and I just got off vacation. So I've probably added a little tiny bit since then, but I went down to 211, and I plan to get back to that
Yeah.
here now that I'm back home.
Yep. Yep. So I mean, you dropped 20 pounds, right? Which is really good. I know you increased your performance too, which again, you had goals, right? You're like, hey, I have a family with like heart disease. I want to get healthier. That is what matters. But we all want to look good with our shirt off. And a lot of our first responders, you have performance goals, which is specifically kind of why you came to us, right?
Right.
Um, Talk to us where you were and you've hit PRs, you've gotten stronger, you've gotten better endurance, right? But I want to know from your test, like, what was your biggest concern going in? Like, man, I got this test coming up. Where were your weak points, and how did you overcome those?
So the biggest thing for me was running. My whole life, I avoided running like the plague. I used to be a boxer, and even then, they were like, "You gotta run, you gotta run." I'm like, "No, I'm not gonna run. I'm not even competing. There's no reason to run." I hated running, and it's harder for me because I grew up having asthma,
Mm.
exercise-induced asthma. Now, before it was really bad, and I was just worried about that. The time was supposed to be like a mile and a half run in 15 minutes. So that was extremely difficult for me, because I kept trying before I got on with you guys. I kept trying to hit it, and I would always hit like 17 minutes because I kept having to stop. And my coach, Coach Mike, not only did he prepare me for that by he didn't just say, just keep running, man, keep running. No, he built those muscles
Yeah.
so I can run. And he taught me different techniques. And it's a mental thing too. And he trained me mentally. He's all like, instead of being tough, like, keep doing better and stuff like that, he was like, you can do this, man, and you need to work on this, but I believe you. I believe that you can do this. And he mentally was like, never give up. And he didn't just help me train physically, he helped me train mentally. And it was amazing when I finally passed that test,
Yeah.
it was great.
Yeah, I know you shared the win in the community and you got a lot of support from it, which is awesome. And people were cheering you on, and I'm sure that was a good feeling. And we're proud of you. I know you look forward to continuing to work with us. I
Mhm.
I I want to ask this because I think some people maybe are a little bit skeptical about the online coaching, right? Like, wait, I'm getting ready for a test. How are you going to train me? Because we train people for performance. Maybe walk me through what some of your thoughts were before you, because this is your first online coach, right?
Okay.
So like, what were your thoughts before? Maybe some of your reservations about like, how's this going to work? And then I'd love to know how it did work and how we made it work around, your schedule, your physical capabilities, your goals. Would love to hear that from you.
So it honestly, people don't really think this, but online is a lot better in my personal opinion. My fiance has a personal coach that she sees in person occasionally, and my performance has been a lot better than hers because of the online aspect that I have that contact and communication
Mhm.
through online. I'm used to not seeing my coach. He lives in 2 states away from me, but I still feel that personal connection because of our communication that we have. He is not a hard man to get a hold of. And when you get in person, these people have schedules, they're busy doing all this stuff. If they're not seeing you, they're seeing someone else, which, online coaching does as well, but they make that time for everyone that the in person really can't. You see them once, twice, if you're lucky, 3 times a week, and that's it. You gotta kind of do the rest on your own, which with here you are having to have to do things on your own, but at least you have that good communication with your coach. And anytime I have
Yeah.
questions about anything, simple stuff, I'll ask like, hey, randomly, is this a good supplement to take? Or would this, whatever, break my fast? And he'll get back to me really fast. So I think the communication honestly is better, especially because you're not used to seeing them in person. It's easier for them to communicate with you.
Yeah, no, I love that you touched on that. And I mean, I'm biased, right? But not fully because we have had a gym, in Arizona, and all of our coaches been training for, over 10 years. So we've done the in-person thing. And it's crazy because our client, not crazy, but it was a little bit of a surprise for me when I even first dove fully into online, that our clients are getting better results because we're really
Mhm.
solving three main things, right? Accountability, huge, right? Like you said, for your fiance, like, we can provide you with more accountability, because even if she goes 2 or 3 days a week and then she leaves, what are they, where's that accountability outside the gym? And that's usually when people fall off, right?
Right.
And then, a big thing for online coaching is it can kind of be more tailored to you, because it's every day, right? And a big thing for us is all of our coaches are full time. We don't hire any part time coaches, so they're on all day. They're on their computer. They're programming. They're having other clients. So like, exactly, you ask a question, it's there. It's not the 2015 where you email them and then maybe 2 days they'll email you back and you've already picked the food you want and you already messed up and you're like, oh, thanks for getting back to me now. Um, and I
Right.
know Coach Mike's an awesome coach, very high level. What would you say to somebody that maybe is on the fence? Like, I mean, I'll ask two things that are kind of combined in one. I hear a lot of people say, number one is the cost, right? Like, oh man, I don't know if it's worth it. It's a lot of money. I don't know if like this would be a good investment. Like maybe speak to that, and then in combined with that, for people that are just maybe reserved, like I don't think you can effectively train me online. Like I don't get how that works. I feel like I need somebody in person. What would you say to that person?
So I would definitely start by saying I understand. I was on the edge myself. And luckily, you, Coach Stefan, helped me, answer my questions. You were patient with me. You answered everything that I needed to know, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give this a shot, and I'm very glad I did, because if you can turn, a little chubby kid with asthma into, being able to pass my test with a twisted ankle, that's insane. Like, you guys have done so much for me, and I really, honestly, I would say just do it. Like, I understand the finance kind of thing, and really, when it comes down to it, I was always taught, what is your health worth?
Mhm.
What is the price on your health or your body?
Yeah.
You're gonna spend that money anyway. That money, it's
Yeah.
not yours. It's just your turn to spend it. And when it comes down to it, you're gonna want to invest into something good.
Yeah.
If you're gonna spend that money on, sweets and pizza and all these, unhealthy things, then you can spend it on something to improve yourself, for better in the long run, or even for now, so. And I have trouble with finances too as an EMT. We don't make a lot of money, but if I
Yeah.
can afford it, you definitely could too.
For sure. Yeah. And I appreciate that insight. And exactly like Rory, you had to make, it's an investment, it's trade-off, right? Sacrifice, whatever you
Right.
want to call it. Like it is you investing in your health. And I'm glad you have that mindset. Not everybody does. But here's the thing too, from a financial standpoint, which I always, I'm not shy. Well, it's an investment, right? But you having
Mhm.
to sit there and say, oh, wait, if I pass and I can get this career, I'll make more money. Like it is an ROI, right? You get a return on
Mhm.
your investment. And so, we work with a lot of people for career advancements or even staying in your career. Or then the next level is if you're like, well, I'm not afraid, I'm passing all my tests. I'm okay for like being fit for duty. What about being fit for life? Like what kind of energy do you have? What kind of quality of life do you have? It's really hard to put a price point. And I think most people say,
Mhm.
oh, you can't put a price on health. But it's like, but do you put your money where your mouth is? Like it's easy to
Right.
say that, right? And
Mhm.
I always say this like on the podcast is like check somebody's bank account and you'll see what's most important to them. Period. It's brutal. I'm
Right.
guilty too. And it's one of those things where and you signed up for 6 months when you first started because you were and you're actually just re-signed for a little bit, but you're gonna probably go into the academy, right? So you're gonna couldn't continue. But a lot of our clients go for 6 months to a year. So when he said, I'm gonna give it a shot, you might have thought, oh, I just tried it for a month. No, no, he made a commitment. And that's a really important for our clients because most of our clients we work with for 12 months, because we are a transformational program. And we want to make sure, we just talked about this a few days ago, is like, I want you to go on your own eventually. Like that is the goal. My last question for you is like, you know, that being said, that's a super important promise that we fulfill on, right? Eventually, I'm going to have a conversation with you where I'm like, deuces, man, see ya, bye, in a
Mhm.
loving way. Do you feel like the team has done a good job of like educating you and like at least like slowly ramping you up and answering your questions and preparing you to do that?
Yeah, I totally think that they have. Because even when Mike was gone for on his honeymoon, I had a bunch of other coaches come in, kind of be like, "Hey, we're gonna take his place for a bit," and every single one of them have been great. Very helpful, very patient, understanding all my questions. And I do feel, I've worked out Mike with his program for a
Yeah.
little bit, and I've done workouts with muscles I didn't even know I had, doing workouts I'd never heard of in my life, and things that I'll be able to carry with me forever. And I've even learned things about, fasting and different ingredients with supplements and stuff like that. So I've learned a lot of things throughout this program, and I'm very excited to learn more as I continue on.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And again, like we don't which we might add this later, but it's not a bunch of like PDFs and educational courses. Like we have those things, but it's just getting coached, right? Like those
Right.
light bulbs clicking in your head. And I think the biggest thing that hopefully you carry with you forever, and I'm sure you will, is the confidence, right? You're like, dude, I can do this. Like, and once you've actually like been consistent, been eating really good, been training consistently, even if you had accountability, you're like, I can do this. Like, I know I'm capable. Before I had a lot of doubts. Now I absolutely know that I can do it. And I think unlocking that part of your brain and consciousness is super important. And I mean, man, you know this, the transformation really starts from the inside out, right? Like you
Mhm.
probably had some mental shifts before you had the big physical shifts, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Well, I appreciate you jumping on. I appreciate you answering the questions, man. You've been crushing it. I can't tell you how happy I was to see that win. And you put this whole paragraph like, if I could do it, no, everybody can do it. And it was just so awesome to watch, to watch you go about it. And, you know, we look forward to continuing to work with you. And, you know, I know when you go in the academy, you'll crush it. I have no doubt, you know, and a big thing too, is a lot of our people do join when they're gonna, I mean, not tons, but I'd say maybe 20% come in and they're like, you know, because we do work with a lot of active, you know, law enforcement, military, but some people are like, I want to pass my PT test. I want to go in the academy, police academy, fire academy. And it's super important that we prepare those people, but we also tell them, hey, we're not going to work with you for 3 months to like just get you in. I mean, not that we've never done that, but it's like we are a transformational program. And again, if that person passes their test, then they become a cop or a firefighter, and then they still have no good habits or they're lacking the knowledge, they're just going to go right back to where they were. And that's even
Mhm.
more dangerous when you're actually living out the job, right?
Right.
We want you to get fit for duty in life, which also means staying fit for duty in life. And that's a really important thing for us. So I appreciate you jumping on, man. I appreciate your insight. I know this is going to help some people that, you know, maybe just have the same questions and concerns that you have. And yeah, you're absolutely crushing it, dude. So I really appreciate you. And we look forward to continuing to work with you.
I appreciate it. And thank you so much for all that you guys have done as well. Y'all have done a lot for me.
Yeah, of course, man. Appreciate it.